Frankie for 27 years. I've been a priest for 27 years, and we got to know each other in my first assignment at St. Francis Cabrini Parish, and she was serving as youth minister there, and I was the green newbie in the rectory. She didn't take much time before she began instructing the newbie. You students who have her in class, please, you're not the only ones. She teaches. She has been teaching me for 27 years. I don't quite know actually how to practice my priesthood without having her check in on me occasionally. I presume she will continue to do that in the way the Spirit allows and provides, as we believe, of course. She's may not be with us as we have been used to her, but she still certainly remains with us in the power of the Spirit, and I want to kind of talk about that. Not so much about she remaining with us as that work of the Spirit. She really believed in the Spirit. She believed in Jesus, certainly, and she believed in the Father, but I mean it was the Spirit, the blessed Spirit of that third person of the one God, three persons, that she relied on and talked to and I think took to task sometimes. Sometimes the Spirit, just like this priest, wasn't always doing what Frankie felt needed to be done. She had this incredible understanding, I think, of what the right thing to do was. And I think she had that because the Spirit was teaching her constantly what the right thing was for Frankie to do, and more hard, the right kind of Frankie to be. Because none of us, folks, can do or be the right kind of person we were born to be, created to be, and we Christians believe redeemed to be, without that Spirit. And she was fairly clear on what she was called to be, and what she was being taught to be by the Spirit. And she also had a pretty good idea about what you and I were being taught to be by that Spirit. She was impatient with herself and with most of you and I, because we weren't always living up to that. That's where that teaching me how to be a priest came into play. And truly, kids, truly, she often had insight that I was wanting, and I was grateful for her nag. I was grateful for her impatience, but I think she was impatient and clear, not just about the kind of priest I was supposed to be, the kind of Christian I was supposed to be, the kind of disciple that I was supposed to be, because I think she was very clear about the kind of disciple she was supposed to be, and very aware she wasn't. Very aware of how any of us miss the mark, and very clear on her own weakness, blind spots. We were able to talk about that too, of course, she and I, but it was, I think, what made her passionate and zealous for doing the right thing and seeing the right thing done. Now, kids, she told me stories about the classroom. And it was all there, yeah. I don't know you personally, but I certainly know you. What she saw in you who were in her classrooms was the potential and the opportunity and the gifts, all there, all available, all just waiting for some choices to be made. Choices. And it drove her crazy when you didn't make, when I didn't make those choices that would plumb the richness of what we could be, that could unpack what we could really be. Now for her, to be human was to be fully alive, following her living Lord. Fully alive, being conformed to that Jesus she trusted by the Spirit that was living in her, that Jesus had revealed, that Jesus promised would be like a living river in all of us who dared believe that Jesus was in the process of making a new humanity, a new kind of being human, making it possible for us to be better than we ever could be or ever imagine on our own. He did that, you know, by destroying, crushing, beating, conquering our sin, our death, and our hell. And when he was put into that tomb, he left all of that there and came out of that grave on Easter in the flesh, risen in that same human stuff that he shares with us and had made his own, but now perfectly aligned with the Spirit. That skin of his glowed and was more real than anything in this room, more substantial, more concrete, because it was flesh imbued, fully alive in the Spirit. Oh, he had the Spirit, of course, his whole life, but after that resurrection, finally, human stuff was revealed as what it was supposed to be. Real, really spiritual, filled with God's own life. Flesh, living, breathing human flesh, now alive in God. And kids, I'm sorry, but that's our vocation. And it's scary business. I mean, it killed Jesus, didn't it? I mean, he ran up against a world that would not have it. That's the challenge. That's the dignity. That's the nobility of what we are called to be. People with flesh so shaped by the Spirit that we can actually make a difference in this world. Change this world. Bring justice. Show compassion. Offer mercy. Love enemies. Well, I'm not so good at that, and neither was Frankie, but we were working on it. And that's the point, kids. Working on it. It won't ever be completed in you and me until, yes, our flesh is risen from the dead in that same glory that Jesus made possible for you and me, but we're working on it. And that's what she hoped. You know, when she was teaching you all about the English and the literature and all that stuff, that's the data that we need, but it was simply the context for you to grow up in the Spirit. And same with my priesthood, that's the context, Eugene. That's the context for you, Eugene, to grow up as God's son that you were redeemed to be. That was her impatience. She wanted to see it. She was disappointed in herself. That's what made her so angry, I think, sometimes. And we probably disappointed her too, but she never doubted that in the end, that's the point. That's God's project, and it will succeed. Even now, it's succeeding in her. Catholic Christian, you and I believe in purgatory. Sorry, kids, if you're not Catholic, and sorry, Catholics, if that's a scary word. I'm a convert to the Catholic faith, and let me tell you, purgatory is a good thing. I mean, I didn't come in with all that baggage, you know, from nuns that made you scared to death about purgatory. Oh, no. No, as a good Baptist boy, I was able to discover what it was when I came into this Catholic church. Boy, it's God keeping his promise. Making us truly, not just considered fit for heaven by his gracious will and mind and loving heart, but made so in the flesh, really, all grown up, fit for heaven. And to whatever degree we're not all grown up when we die, the promise that we will be in the flesh, fit for heaven, resurrected life, perfectly ready to live, that's purgatory. It's the process that just keeps on happening until it's completed. And you and I finally are breathing the Spirit as mature, living daughters and sons of God. Well, our prayers for Frankie from now on help that be completed for her, and I rather hope that her prayers where she is will help the process in you and me. That's what prayer is about. That's what Frankie was always about. Oh, just grow up. She said that to me, a priest, for heaven's sake. Of course, she probably learned that kind of attitude from her mom, but we're not going to go there. I will miss Frankie. My priesthood will miss Frankie. But in the end, we won't miss her at all. Wherever the Spirit is, wherever that Spirit blows, she'll be there, and better listen up. Yeah, she's got something for you and me. Until we see her again, thank God, face to face.